talking media, it all comes back down to numbers, money. And majority of the time, you're going with a safe bet. You know, they're going to cover the NFL. They're going to cover the NBA because it's already proven there's interest. There is demand to know what's happening with that.
More people just tune in to men's sports, and so when media is picking games to put on TV, they want to pick the ones that have the most views, because that's what media is all about. You know, how many people are viewing my show, how popular is my show, it's how they generate money and all of that.
Yeah, we have to cover these sports that we know people love and want because we know that will draw the money and get the eyes. And now there's a little bit of interest on this other sport. Let's highlight that a little bit and let's see what the reaction is. That's all it's going to be, is a feel out, as it is 100% dictated by money. Hopefully there's enough going on that it draws that interest where people do care.
Most of your sports writers are male, so most of your sports writers go with the male image.
When they cover like a men's basketball game, they're a lot more enthusiastic, a lot more hyped up, whereas like if you're watching highlights of like a women's basketball game, they're not as like pumped up or as, they don't seem to be as into it.
I also think that the female athlete's game is a little bit different than the male. You know, if you watch NBA basketball, it's just kind of boring because it's just dunk, 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 whereas the WNBA, it's more of a finesse game, and you really have to buy into that. You really have to want to see athletic people making athletic moves without just throwing a ball through a hoop.
Women's speed of play, very different than the men. The men are a lot faster, yet the women, they have better plays than the men. The men are more technical, so it's a lot faster, but women are smarter in the game and they like to create plays.
I think people in general think that they can do it themselves. And so when they see a men's basketball player jump up in the air and slam it down, they're like, oh, that was cool, because I could never do that. But when they see a women's basketball player make a nice pass, they're like, I could have probably did that, even though they're like not in their shoes, you know. The reality is the game is still the same, you know. It doesn't matter, men's or women's, we're still playing the same game. The goal is still the same, to put the ball in the basket. At the end of the day, will you either win or lose, and it goes for both men's and women's.
You watch the women's game, it's about the fundamentals, and so you can see, you know, the basics being done right and being done right all the time. But for somebody to watch and enjoy that, they need to be a little bit more of a student of the game as opposed to just Joe Blow fan who's flipping through the channels and see something come on.
Men are familiar with the way that they play the game, so when they watch women come out and they play the game differently, they don't get it, they don't want to watch it. Advertisers don't want to advertise because nobody's watching, so that probably results in a loss of airtime too.
Also, you'll take it back to the quality of play, where there are some sports that you have both men and women compete in, where because the women haven't played it as long, the quality of the product just isn't as good, and that'll always be the difference maker. Is people are naturally going to be in tune to watch what they find to be more entertaining for them.
And that's why I think that the U.S. Women's National Team had so much impact, because they were so successful that both genders were wanting to watch it. They were so inspirational to a lot of people, and I think we just got to keep building off that and allowing that to bleed over into other sports.